Talk to you about purpose and destiny. Write the two words down. And I want to focus on question of purpose. If you don't know where you are from and don't know who you are, you'll never know why you are here. It's the question of purpose.
You know, the good book says, without a vision, thou people shall perish. His vision gives us new hope. His vision of his heart says that I will do, I will stand, I will put both of my feet in the ground, and I will stand for something, because if I don't stand for something, I'll fall for anything. It's the smallest things in life that we throw away too quickly. See, some people listen, but when you really want to change, you must hear.
See, my life is more than a rags to riches story. It wasn't the rag part or the riches part. It was the trip that I've been on, the whole journey. What I learned about getting here. See, when I go out tonight, man, I don't see cameras, you know, I don't see an agent, I don't see a talent scout, I don't see any of that. I see people, minus the titles, and minus the cameras, and minus where we are, and forget the competition, man. I'm going out to make people laugh, that's all, man. If I do me, I'll be fine. If I go out here trying to impress some folks, I'm in trouble, man. I gotta impress nobody. I'm gonna just do Steve Harvey, man. I'm funny. I'm gonna be funny. If I don't be nothing else, I'm gonna be funny. That's the deal, ain't it? What I'm telling you right now today is, all of you, if you survive, the reason you're here is because God, he ain't through with you yet. There is still something God has for you that you've yet to receive. There's something that God wants you to do that you haven't yet done. And it don't have to be no big spiritual reason. You ain't here to save the world or go over there and feed the hungry. Them ain't the only callings in life. But I gotta tell you something. In order to get to this calling in life, in order to find out your mission in life, you're gonna have to spend some time talking to God. You can't be too close to him. My job is to get a little bit closer so I can find out a little bit more of what he wants from me. But in order to get the more, you have to expect the more. You have to live the law of expectation. You have to expect your life to be better than it was in 18, 17, 16, and 15, and it will be. There is no reason why it won't be. There ain't nothing you can do about what's gonna happen to you. You can't stop life from happening. You can do something about it. Life is 10% what happened to you, is 90% what you do about it. You got to stop tripping every time something happened to you like it's the end of the world. It ain't. God has seen you through all these years of your life. Why would he bring you this far to leave you? You ain't got to be perfect to have a relationship with God. You ain't got to be perfect for God to bless you. Just change your mindset. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
It takes courage to act. When you've been defeated, it takes courage to start over again. It was Winston Churchill, he said that courage is going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. When you step into your fears and continue to push yourself to go on, something happens for you. It will enable you to transcend yourself. If you don't develop the courage to do that which has been given you to do, and you spend a lot of time going around trying to convince other people or trying to get their approval, what will happen is that you will lose your nerve. And other people will convince you that what you're doing doesn't have any value, and you'll give up on your dream. 95% of the people in this room are living below their ability, guaranteed. Who you are has never been discovered. What you are settling for disappoints God. What you are proud of, God is ashamed of.
It's this time now, so we must readjust our comfort zone.
What you are proud of, God is ashamed of.
See, now it's time to go to a different thought process. You see, a goal remains a goal until you write it on a piece of paper. Then it becomes a vision. So our next steps is, what is the vision? What is the vision? Because the only reason I'm here, the only reason we're here today is because of our yesterday. Everything I've been through has defined who I am right now. So what's the goal? What's the vision?
If you can see everything, that ain't faith.
But the good book says, write the vision and make the vision plain. Before you write the vision, you must have an imagination. You must be able to see yourself out of the situation that you may have been in. If you can't imagine yourself being out of the hood, you'll keep going back to the hood. It's not that I became so brand new that I wanted to remove myself from the hood, but I couldn't change in the hood. I tell you this, you show me your crowd, I'll show you your future. Because they run hand in hand. But when you start to readjust your comfort zone, I want to share something with you that you must understand, that before anything great is really achieved, your comfort zone must be disturbed. It's the only way it works. We got to reconnect to what the vision really is. We got to reconnect to who we really are. The reason why we keep going backwards is because we're afraid of tomorrow. But we can't get to tomorrow because we must deal with today.
Success in life is a result of the decisions you make.
Hello. Hello, good evening all. Hello, good evening. If you can hear me, please type in yes. Oh, I'm going to say no sound. There was sound. If you can hear me clearly, please type in yes. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Can you all see my screen? Okay, someone said I should share the title of that motivational message. A minute. Let me move it to my screen so that you guys can see it. Sorry. All right, moving it. It's activate your purpose. The title is activate your purpose. Let me see a comment. Inspiring habits is from a YouTube station. Why does this thing keep happening? Okay, this is it. Inspiring habits.
I want to talk to you about purpose and destiny.
The title of this is activating your purpose. That's activating your purpose, inspiring habits. That's the name of the YouTube channel. You understand? So when you go there, you'll see a lot. It was introduced to me by two of my students. One particularly. So, okay. So let's start off. So hope you all had a lovely weekend. So thank you all for coming to today's weekly outlook with Great White. Before we start off, we'll need to go through this disclaimer. It is vital that you guys understand what you're about getting into. So I need to go through this disclaimer. Hope everybody sees it. If you have any questions, this is my Telegram handle. This is my Twitter handle. This is my Twitter handle. So if you have any questions, you can reach across to me on any of them. So we need to go through this high risk investment. So everybody is aware of it. So now let's start off with what we have today for this week. So looking at this week, we always start off with the weekly calendar as a weekly fundamental calendar. On Monday, the Aussie Bank will be on holiday for the whole of Sunday, as the Bank of Canada Then 3 p.m. Monday, we have ISM, that's high impact USD news. Then 11:45, that's GMT time. 11:45, we have New Zealand unemployment change and unemployment rate. These are high impact news, very, very high impact. Then on Tuesday, medium impact, Tuesday 5:30 a.m. That's GMT time. We have AUD cash rate and their rate statement. That's AUD, that's Republic Bank of Australia, as their cash rate and rate statement. Then on Wednesday, the New Zealand, they have theirs. That's by 3 a.m. as GMT time. Then 4 a.m. they have their press conference. Then on Friday by 12:30 a.m. the Republic Bank of Australia, the governor is going to be speaking due to testify before the House of Representatives Standing Committee on Economics in Canberra. So I don't know whatever he says. So it's like majority, the greater part of this week is for the Aussie and New Zealand pairs. Then on Friday we have by 9:30 Great Britain, that's British pound GDP, manufacturing products, then prelim GDP, then 1:30 card unemployment change and unemployment rate. That's on Friday. This is also high impact news. This is also high impact news. So that's it for this week. So not much of a dollar high impact news. It's mainly Aussie and New Zealand, as you can see. And then we have Trump, who is not always listed, but he can come up at any time. So you all need to be aware of that while you're trading. So let's start off. So as always, we start with the dollar index. When we start with the dollar index, we're looking at the weekly. We need to have a view of how last week's candle closed. So looking at this chart and the way the weekly candle closed, we can see this is a bearish pin bar. It's a bearish pin bar, bearish on the weekly. And not only did this pull away from this area, if you notice, it also closed below this prior high here. It also closed below this prior high here. So there's one thing I've learned from pin bars. This pin bar, except you get the close below the low of this pin bar is not yet bearish. I've seen instances whereby you see a pin bar like this, and before you know it, it just does not go down. But this is at a level. There is a zone here. So price rejected from it. So knowing that, we go down into our intraday chart. So that's what happened here. That zone is what you have here. So knowing that, price is now sitting at a what I'll call an elephant footprint area here. As you can see, it slowed down a bit. So now the question is, you may see a bounce from this area. What I mean is, if this area holds, you may see a bounce to this prior high here. That prior high is at 98.37. You might see a move to this 98.37. If this 98.37 holds, then you're going to see price come back down and maybe break this area. Or that is if you get a close above 98.13. You must get a close above 98.13 for it to move, because it may rally to this 98.13 and drop down further. It does happen because this elephant zone, the lower part is support, the upper part is resistance. So at this A junction, is just wait and see. You have two options: either price rejects from this top area and drops further, or it closes above, then moves higher towards to test this prior high. Because if you look at it on the weekly, what it shows is a false break of this high. So you might see a retest of that high and a move lower. So if we go down to the daily view, so that's what you have here. But now this is where the bit of a challenge is. Looking at it from a daily point of view, this candle is what you call an anchor candle. It's a bullish anchor candle. Now, the storyline is that this his open price is always support. The open price of any anchor candle, as if it's a bullish anchor candle, the open price is always support. If it's a bearish anchor candle, the open price is resistance. So since this is a bullish anchor candle, his open price is going to be support, and that is at 98.03. And that is what you have somewhere. So you now see why I zoned out this place. So if they don't break below here, there is a greater possibility they will run up to retest 98.30. Because as you know, those of you who trade pin bars off weekly, if we go back to the weekly on this pin bar, if we place a fib on this pin bar, the ideal place to take a trade on this bar will be from your 38.2 to the 61.8. That's between this zone here. That would be the most appropriate place to take a short position, because you already have the impulse move. What you'll be waiting for is the correction. There's already the impulse, you'll be waiting for the correction. So now the question is, to which of the levels can it get to? So that's just need to wait to see what happens. But for now, the dollar has a bearish bias on the weekly and daily view. You might just see a bit of a correction and a move further down. So the next pair we'll be looking at is gold. So if we look at gold from the weekly point of view, gold is looking clearly bullish. Although it has these wicks to the high, but it's still looking very, very bullish. If I look at this, I have a zone here. I have a very little zone here. Excuse me. Let me get this well. From this point to this point, I have a zone here. I have a little zone here. So if we come into this area, and that's where price is at the moment now. Price is having a bit of a struggle there. And then we have this high here. Price is still above it as this high here. This is going to be resistance. This is not a zone. This is going to be resistance. So I shade it red. So that's what you have here on the weekly. Looking at it from the weekly perspective. So if we go down now to the daily, now the deal here is this. It's looking bullish. It's looking pretty bullish, but there's a bit of caveat to it. It may pull back a bit. You might see a bit of a pullback on gold. And see, this trend line is holding for now. So it's still on Friday closed very, very small candle body. And this is a big candle here. But the storyline here is this. This high has not been taken out. This high here has not been taken out. So you have a kind of a resistance inside this zone. As long as this high is not taken out, what do I mean taken out? You don't get the close above this high. There's a tendency that gold may pull back. So now the question is, should gold pull back? Where is it going to pull back to? Should gold pull back? Where is he going to pull back to? So what I'll do is I'll get rid of all this, switch over to my daily point of view. Switch over to my daily point of view. So start on, like I did on the weekly, what you call a top-down analysis. You start from a higher time frame. When you start from a higher time frame, you work your way down to your time frame of convenience. So start from, note this resistance. I notice zone, I boxed out here. Let's change that to up. It's not a resistance. An outline for a zone. Okay, then I pick this zone of this area. Done with that. Then move over to this end. So this is what we have here. So this is from the weekly. I drop down to the daily. So this place is still looking like resistance. I drop down to the daily. I have an area of importance here. This area has held severally. So this is an area of importance on the daily time frame. Remember, we're still doing top-down analysis. We're starting from the top down. So that's taken out. I drop down now to my 4 hour. If I drop down now to my 4 hour, my next level of importance comes in around here. The next level of importance comes in around here, and let me make it here. So this is my next level of importance here. So we already know, you've seen the impulse, you might see a bit of a pullback. So if it's going to pull back, once you get the close below this level, then most likely price will come back down. So I might even get rid of this. It's not holding fully on intraday, and just place here. So that area will be support. So now this is the game plan. Remember I said, remember I said there's a resistance inside this area. There's a resistance inside this area. So this is it. This is resistance zone inside here. So knowing one thing is certain, there's liquidity above here. The market is going to gun for it. Until they gun for it, they will not drop. Because a lot of people already have, let me get this well drawn. I didn't get the high properly. That high is somewhere here. Yep, got it. That high is 1453. They will need to spike it. If they spike above 1453, how do I mean spike? If they pull above it, come down and it holds that support, then they are going to move higher. On the other hand, if they spike above it and can't close above it, this is their first level of support. If they break below and you see a bar setup, they're moving down lower. So what you just have to do is, on this pair, you just need to exercise a bit of a caution. Is a resistance area? Yes. But he has the potential to still spike here. If you notice, this move didn't take out this high. So there's a possibility they will still spike up. They might still spike up into that here. So you just need to bear that. So this is your support. This is your next level of support on this pair. And this is your third level of support on this pair. So you just need to be aware of these areas on this pair. So the next pair we'll be moving now is the USDCHF. So let's look at the USDCHF from a weekly point of view. This is what you might call a kind of a bearish engulfing. It's a bearish engulfing. Yes, almost. It's a bearish engulfing. Almost. Or might call it a dark cloud cover, but a big dark cloud cover. And like if you notice, this is a momentum candle. It's what you call an anchor candle. So as always, the open price of the anchor candle is going to be support on the weekly point of view. And if you notice, the market is aware of that. Do you see? So now the storyline is you then have a support buffer here. This is how I normally draw it. You have a support buffer here. You have a support buffer here. Is your support buffer. So what does this mean? Price, most times, you will see a bit of a pullback into this candle before they continue to move down. Sometimes it may happen, sometimes they will just go through it. So, but the moment they take out this support zone, and you know they are moving lower. That's on the weekly. So now let's go to the daily. So you see what you have on the daily. So this is what you call a tower system. It may still move lower. Once they take out this low, they are moving lower. So how do we treat this on our intraday chart? So it's very simple. What I do is, since this is a new week. I always like clearing out all my markups from the prior week so that I get a clear view. I could have done this prior to now, but I would prefer to do it before everybody so that everybody gets an idea of how to do it. And so that when you see my charts, you have an idea of how to interpret the charts. So always note this area. Go back here. Go back to my daily time frame. I go back to the daily time frame. Well, first I need to map out my kind of like areas of importance above price as areas of importance above price. I have that area, this area, over here. That's the zone. Excuse me a minute. So sorry. So we have this area. We have this area as support down here. So what do? I go down to my 4 hour. Some of you might ask why 4 hour, because I'm always at home on the 4 hour time frame. That's where I'm always at home on. I have this area here. I have here, I have here, I have here, and I have here. So those are possible support areas. I think I have here. I have here. This area here. I have somewhere here. So and let me shade this area so that it doesn't look overwhelming to me. Have this zone shaded up. There's a zone here. One zone. These are potential support areas because they are below price. They are below price. This is a pure support area. That's why I didn't shade it out. The pure support area. Then plausible areas of resistance above price comes in here. Come in here. Then I also have at this top area here. So have at this top area here. So just shade here a bit lower. That's it for this pair. So as long as this support structure here holds, price has a tendency to run up to this area. So you might see price, if this area holds, price may just run. Price may run up to this area. There's a potential that price may run up to this area. That's if this area holds. If this area holds as resistance, then you may see price come down. But if it fails to hold as resistance, then you may see something like this, and then a move higher on price. So that's just it. But be rest assured that price is sitting above the support structure for now. sitting above a support structure. Well, let me even see. Well, this is, I could call this place a zone. It's a zone, it's a support and a zone at the same time. So it's high importance. So that's what we have here. So these are your zones. Below and above price. If this area holds, price may likely move up into this area. Since if you look at it from the daily point of view, you have a bearish bias, you'll be looking for this impulse, you'll be looking for the correction. So the correction may end here, may get to here, may extend higher, but if it doesn't go above this area, then it may continue back down. So that is it for the USDCHF. The next one we'll be looking at is the EURUSD. Looking at the EURUSD from the weekly point of view, price came very, very close to an area here. This area is very big. It's pretty big. Came very, very close to it, as you can see here. Came very close to it and turned. And if you look at it, it's like it almost closed back above this loop. You see, almost closed back above. In fact, it closed back above this loop, which might mean this is like what you would call it's a bullish pin bar of sort. It's a bullish pin bar. One thing is that this is a bullish signal, although it's still bearish, but it's bullish, showing that as price got to this loop, but before it closed, it took it back up and even above this significant low and this low here. So how do we interpret that on the daily point of view? So now, what it may seem like, it's a break retest. That's what it may seem like. So how do we take care of this on the daily, on the 4-hour chart, that's intraday chart? Because I'm not a swing trader, so I don't hold trades for long. So one thing is that price is at a resistance zone. You understand? Price is at the resistance zone, and there's a small block here. 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 This resistance, this is a small block, and this another area here. So now, given the way price is, as you can see on the daily, it looks like it's doing a break test. So you might see a bit of a pullback. So that pullback may extend below this area. I don't know, I can't say. That pullback may extend below 1.1071. May extend below it, but if it does not, then price might move higher towards this area. That's just what we have for the time being now. Because for now, the USDCHF, the GBP, it's sitting above an area of importance. Sitting above an area of importance. So the question is, are they playing a break and retest? They're doing a break and retest. That means they might drop back and still move up a bit. But if you look at it from the weekly, this is a pin bar. This is very bullish. So which means that, and given the position of the dollar index, because if you remember, the dollar index has a bearish pin on the weekly. The euro has a bullish on the weekly. So you might see a bit of a turnaround in trend. So if this one stays above 1.1071, it may still move up. But if it goes below 1.1071, then you're looking at him coming to 1.1045. As long as it stays above 1.1045 to 1.1026, then it may still move higher. But below this zone, and it's further down. So this is how the chart for the EURUSD looks like, plotted out for the week. So the next one we're looking at is the EURGBP. Looking at the EURGBP from the weekly, it ran into this zone here. You can see price is below it. With this very, very big momentum candle. So how is that going to be? Then we go to the EURGBP. You can see it dropped last week to this prior high here. Let me show you. This blue line is this prior high. So you had the break retest and it bounced up. That's what happened last week. It bounced up into here. But when it bounced up into a resistance inside the zone. So it's coming down. So now the question is, you may see price come back down here. You just may see price come back down to test any of these levels again. So basically on this pair, it's slightly bullish, but it may range for some time. See, it may just range above here. But a move above 1.9190, that's a close. What do I mean by a move? You need to see a close above, a retest, and a move higher. Will continue the bullish move. But as long as it stays below 0.9190, it may continue to just range sideways. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPUSD. We're looking at the GBPUSD, look at it from the weekly perspective. Looking at it took out, let me clear everything I have here. So if you look at it, there is this low here. You can see price drop below it and bounced up. But on the weekly, it is very, very bearish. Still very, very bearish. So we have this other low here. So going into our intraday chart, when you look at our intraday chart, you can see price bounced off here. It's having a bit of resistance at 1.2161. As long as it stays below here, it may still drop. But should it go above 1.2161, then you may see price get up to this level. So this is a resistance, this is a support structure for now. So that's just basically it. Remember, it's still bearish. Still bearish. So any bounce may be sold off. You need to keep that at the back of your mind. The next one we're looking at is the AUDUSD. So go over the AUDUSD from the weekly. Let me get rid of, well, let me be careful here because there's something here I am not to get rid of. See this? You see this trend line? You see where it's running from? It has this low, and that's where price is bouncing up. That's where price is bouncing up. So what do I do now? Let me get rid of this. So now price needs to go back above 68.31 to continue to have a bit of a bullish bias. Yeah. So let's go down to our intraday chart. So we'll go down to our intraday chart. As you can see, this area is now going to become resistance. Let's see. So price is bouncing above it. If it holds, then price may move higher. If price fails to go back above here, then you may see price move lower on this pair. So that's just basically what we're looking at. For now, it is bearish. What you'll be waiting for is a bar setup here. If it goes above this area, then you know that this drop is false. As if you get a close above 0.6867, then you know this move is false. And then there's one thing I've noticed from trading. Those that sold, remember, the AUD has high impact news from Tuesday. Those that are in this sell, they'll start taking their profit. And when they start taking their profit, the price may start to turn the other way. So you do not want to try selling around here. So that is it for the AUDUSD. The next one we're looking at is the GBPCHF. So looking at the GBPCHF, bearish, but it's sitting above this significant low here. So you might just see a bit of a pullback within the week. So we'll go down into the chart, as you can see, that's what we have here. So now he has touched this lower side. Let me get rid of this. Get rid of this. So now price needs to close above 1979. Needs to close above 1971, test it as support, then move up towards this resistance here at 1.2029. So as long as price stays above 1.1902, it may still move up. But a move below 1.1902 will take it lower. But given this big momentum candle, you might see a bit of a pullback before you move down. But bear in mind, it's still bearish. So any bounce may be sold off. So you might either wait to see a break at this point, lower, or you see what will happen at this resistance should you get a close above 1.1979. So that is it for the GBPCHF. The next we'll be looking at is the USDJPY, bearish of the weekly. Bearish, bad bearish of the weekly. Rejection from this area. So how do we trade that? We go down to our intraday chart. So what we have here now is, let me go over, well. The next zone is down here. The next area is down here. The next area is down here. That's just the next area of support on this pair, down here. Let me see, 104.85. Almost the same thing. They are the same broker. They are the same broker. Let me see if I can get another broker. USDJPY. Let me see if I can get another broker. Because sometimes, due to this spike, you might see different broker prices. You see, 104.66. You can see 104.66, and this is 104.80. So you can see a bit of discrepancy in it. So you just take it 104.85, 104.66. But if the way it is on the daily, if we go down to the 4-hour, yes, somebody's asking if I'm a day trader. Yes, I'm a day trader. I look for my daily bread. That's just what I look for. I look for my daily bread. Once I get it, I walk away. So if we look at this, look at this, let me get rid of this area, get rid of this area. So what we're looking at now is, this is resistance. This is resistance. This is resistance. This is resistance. So I would need to give it a different shading. It will not carry this green. It will carry a different shading. It's very bright. This is very, very, very bright. Okay, this is okay. So I know that this area has been taken out. So pick up another area here. So now there's a storyline here. There's a storyline here. If price goes above any of these zones, then this might be a false break. Because you can see price has broken, they have not tested it. So two things can happen. Price may retest and drop lower, or price may move up to either this area or this area. But once you get a close above 107.52, that's something like this, then you know price is moving back up. You're looking at price moving back up. So either of these areas can serve as a resistance to price. But if you get a close above 107.52 on the daily, then you know price is moving back up. So if you look at it on the daily, this is bearish. On the weekly, so this is the zone. Two things may be happening here. Either they are clearing liquidity below this area to continue back, or they want to continue lower. So that's just it. That is just it. The next pair we'll be looking at is the USDJPY. I know the Euro Yen. Looking at the Euro Yen, well, now it's at this point. Let me see. Let me see if I find another broker. If they have the same, let me see if they have the same value. FXCM, yeah. So you can see on this one, his own low is at triple 118.88, but this broker has his at 118.49. So that's where there's a bit of an issue. But for one thing, it's still bearish. They're still very, very bearish. But if I look at this pair, I have a zone here. So how do I trade this? I go down into my intraday chart. I clear everything because this might require a bit of proper looking at. So assuming this broker, this is because already we can see it's not everybody that is agreeing at this level. So let's say we put a support here. So now if price opens the week closing back above here, there's a tendency it might move higher. So if there's a close back above here, price may continue back higher. That's just it. And if it continues back higher, you have a resistance zone here. Resistance zone here. This is a resistance zone. So how do we trade this intraday? So basically, what you'll be expecting is, okay, I have a resistance here. Let me get rid of this. I have a zone here. This is an active zone. Active zone. There's an active zone. Then I take this is here. Okay. This is it. So I have support resistance here. So now this pair basically his next level of support is coming in here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. So next level comes in somewhere here. And here, then I have support here. So this top one will be blue. Or better still, I just make it like to be an entire area. But the area of interest is the lower zone. Area of interest is the lower zone. Area of interest is the lower zone. So this is the area I'm looking at. So let me see. Now this is the most possible area, although sometimes Sometimes the market may decide to respect this spike, this area here, this high here. The market may decide to respect it, this high here. So, and should it decide, then I'll be your next level of support. So that's just it on this pair. That's just it for this pair. If I go down to the 1 hour, I have something here. Yes, I was right. I have something here. So before that top zone, I have structure here. A structure here. I zone it up. So that's just what we have. That's just what we have. So this is support, this is support. If it bounces inside here and gets rejected, it will drop. But if you already notice, it's already broken this trend line. It may drop straight, or it may pull up to retest this area. So that's just why you have all these areas up here. So in case it decides to pull back, and if you notice, if you look at the candle formations, they are wicks to the downside. That shows you hesitation in downward continuation. So they may pull up. So if you want to short, these zones highlighted are more active zones to sell from, either of this area or this area. And we have another area further up here. We have another area further up here. Somewhere here. Here and here. So we have this area. This area here. So these are just the zones you have. But if it moves above this last area, 121.34, you move back above there. You move back above this last area, you bring price to this area. As here, this will bring price up to this. Bring price. The market has opened. These are areas of importance on this pair. This is just it. It may continue down, it may pull back up. So the next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPJPY. So looking at the GBPJPY, this significant low has been taken out. So that means it's already at this area. It's already at this area of importance. So if we go over to our daily chart, it's just where price is now. That's just where price is at the moment. Let me see. What broker is this? So I can't tell which broker is this now. Okay, this is one that. This is one that. Let's see. Weekly. I switch to the weekly. I say that price. Let me remove all this so that I can properly draw this zone without any form of bias. I have here and I have this area. From this point down, that's a massive area. A massive area. So that's where price is for now. That's where price is for now. So we might see a bit of a bounce here. We might see a bit of a bounce from where price is. Okay. There's another zone further down here. So we might see a bit of a bounce to probably test this spike. That is assuming this spike is the same on all brokers. Yeah, sorry. I had to take care of something. So sorry. So now assuming this low, let me check this broker. 13119. Let me check this Rwanda. Let me check another broker. GBPJPY. Let me see FXCM. If I check FXCM, let me see. Okay, I have FXCM here. So let me see what level this is, so that we know if we're looking at the same level. That's 130.73. Excuse me, sorry. So you see there's a bit of a difference. This one is 130.73. That's somewhere here. So now the question is, who are you going to take? That's my challenge with this swing low here. But where he is now, if he moves back up, he's moving higher. So we'll go down to the 4-hour time frame. If we go down to the 4-hour time frame, we have this plausible resistance here. Then we have this level here. We have this level here. We have this zone marked out here. We have this zone marked out here. Then we have another zone. This is not a resistance zone, mind you. There's a difference between my shaded gray areas and my resistance zone. So those of you who don't know, this is not the resistance as in resistance zone. So I'm trying to get this because so have here, have here, and have here. So these are areas of importance. So on this pair, I just don't know for now. But one thing is bearish. One thing is that they are all bearish, but their move was made fast by Trump's tweet of continuing his price tariff on goods from China. So now the question is, will they continue down? Because the Japanese yen is a safe haven currency. Whenever there is uncertainty in the market, what the market does is that they buy the Japanese yen straight out. So now the question is, will they rally back up or not? So these are your areas of importance on this pair. These are just the areas of importance on this pair. So the next one we're looking at is the EURAUD. If you look at the EURAUD from the daily point of view, weekly, you can see it's very bearish. Very bullish. It's very bullish. Well, it is into a resistance zone area here. Zone area. So if we drop down to our daily view, I can remove this area. Then bring this down. So this is where price is. This price is where price is for now. So this pair is bullish. So what you'll be waiting for is, if it drops, where will he drop to? As if there's a pullback. So now the storyline is this: if he pulls out below 1.6313, 1.6312, it will come down lower below this level here. But the deal here is that there is a zone here. So that's my concern. There's a zone there. Price may hit that level and power back up. So that's just my concern with this area here. So this was what we have. So you have this swing high here. This swing high here that will act as resistance. This swing high here and this other one. So that's just it. This man is still bullish, but if he dips into this area and you get bullish evidence, he may move higher. But if they go below 1.6212 here, and that means they are coming down to this other area. So that is it for this pair. The next pair we'll be looking at is the GBPAUD. So looking at the GBPAUD, well, this guy can see this weekly has a long wick to the downside. That's a long wick to the downside. That is a bullish signal. So, and that's what played out here. So now the storyline is this, and this pair. How low? If he should pull back, where will he pull back to? There's already sort of structure here. There's structure here that he has to take care of. There's structure here. So it's already kind of like zoning. Then you have support here, support here. Then I think there's a falling trend line. Let me see. Let me see if there's a falling trend line. From here. What's wrong with this trend line? From this high to this here. You can see. So that's what we have it. So there's a bit of issue here. You can see a bit of issue. So move back above here might continue the uptrend, but if you look at it, it's like a hammer. This is a bullish hammer. Long wick, small body. The bullish hammer points to further up move. So if you see a pullback into this resistance zone, that is 77.93 to 1.776, the price may power up. Price may just power up. It may drop like this. You may see it drop into here. If it holds, then price may move higher. So the last pair I'll be looking at is the USD CAD. So looking at the USD CAD, let's get a daily view of it from the weekly. Well, it's looking bullish, but the wicks on both sides calls for an indecision. So what you may see this pair did is most likely, you see this low, they broke it. They've not tested it until here. So now a move back below this level, and this level is a move back below 1.3193 will send price lower into this area. That's what we might have on price. But remember, 1.3143 is an area here. 3143. That's somewhere here. And see, did a break retest and it move higher. So if price does not close above 1.3252, it will come back down. So what you might see is price may just try to spike up to take out liquidity again and continue. But if they close above this area, if you see a move like this, if you see a move like this, they come back down, hold up here, then you know they're moving up. If not, what you wait for is a move out of this area, retest and move low. So that is it for this pair. So that ends for today's weekly review. One thing with this chart is that you can use the chart throughout the entire week. So as long as the levels are not broken heavily, you can still use them throughout the week. So I thank you all for coming. So let me end the review so that some of you can go and do your markup and prepare for the week. So thank you all for coming, and I wish you all a beautiful night's sleep and trading week ahead. Thank you.